Now let's turn our attention to Africa. First to Ghana in the west. Ghana is inviting bids to set up a nuclear power plant. It wants to boost its electricity production. And Ghana thinks nuclear energy is the way to go. It doesn't have any existing nuclear plants so far. Presently, in fact, only one country in all of Africa has nuclear energy, and that is South Africa. All other African nations rely only on conventional sources like fossil fuels or in some cases renewable energy. But Ghana has opted for the third path, nuclear energy. Right now, 5 countries are in the mix to become Ghana's nuclear partner: the US, France, Russia, China and South Korea. Firms from these 5 countries want to build Ghana's first nuclear power plant. It will be a long-term project expected to last a decade or more, and it won't be cheap. There will likely be loans and financing involved, which means there is potential for profit. How do we know all this? Because Ghana is not the first African nation to look at nuclear power. There has been a surge of interest in the technology lately, and one country has been reaping the benefits for a while now, and that is Russia. A Russian state-owned firm, Rosatom, has been forging partnerships across Africa. It began with Egypt. Back in 2017, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a deal with Egypt's Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to build the Daba nuclear power plant, the first nuclear plant in Egypt, and just the second in all of Africa. The deal is reportedly worth $30 billion. Construction began in the year 2022, and every few months, Rosatom gets more permissions to build more units at the site, expanding the plant's capacity. This makes it seem as though things are progressing well. And the Russian company comes across like a reliable partner, making it the partner of choice for African nations. South Africa wants to expand its nuclear capacity, and it is also leaning towards Russia as a partner. Burkina Faso and Mali, 2 coup-hit states in West Africa, also want Rosatom to build their first ever nuclear plants. Both nations signed memorandums of understanding, or MOUs, with the Russian company last year. Everywhere you look, Russia's nuclear firm is making inroads. And there are 2 things to note about this. One is, of course, that Russia has the first mover's advantage. The second point is that Africa is moving towards nuclear power. The question is why? Why are Ghana, Egypt, South Africa and the rest opting for nuclear energy? Because of the soaring demand. The population of Africa is booming. It's the world's fastest growing continent. Reports say that by 2050, 1 in 4 people on the planet will be African, 1 in 4. But the continent has not been able to keep up with its population explosion. About 600 million Africans currently lack access to electricity. 600 million, that's almost twice the population of the US. They don't have power. African governments need to move fast because young populations are a gift, a demographic dividend. They can be productive members of the workforce and fuel economic growth. But for that, they need access to the basics like electricity. Without electricity, productivity suffers. Businesses do not invest in your country, jobs are not created, and you end up wasting the demographic dividend. So African nations need electricity. They need efficient sources of power, and they need them fast. Fossil fuels are not as efficient as nuclear energy. They can generate far more power. You can generate rather far more power than from 1 kilogram of uranium than from coal. Renewable energy is also unreliable. A few foggy days will severely curtail solar power production. Nuclear power is the most efficient option for Africa at the moment. Of course, it comes with its own challenges. But at this point, Africa's countries, Ghana and the rest, are going down that road.
Firstpost reports from the world's 2nd largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. South Africa goes to the polls on the 29th of May. I will track the election and bring you ground reports. Is it the end of the road for the African National Congress? And will former President Jacob Zuma stage a dramatic comeback? From elections to climate change, to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global south. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.